Let's get started. For any of you watching the VOD, happy Friday, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Start things off with the positive airplanes. Oh, what are with these people? This is not a request. You're telling people to do what they can already do in the main function of the game. Come on. This one's a little different. Tell me something that happened that you've always wanted to happen. I want to hear all the things. I don't know, man. I don't know that anything I have to say is that exciting. I would like to win the lottery, but I think a lot of people would like that. Let's see. See if we actually have a request here. I'm going to move house soon. The person I live with causes me great anxiety. Every day is a struggle, and I need encouragement to start looking for a new place and support to cope during the search. Oof. Yay. Person going to move house soon. But they haven't found a house yet. Let's see. Jay. Totally get where you're coming from. I'm actually a homeowner, and once upon a time I had a roommate who was outright refusing to leave. Couldn't believe there were people out there who just force themselves into your own personal property like that. Was super anxious for the 3 months it took her to move out. Best thing you can do is find refuge outside in the meantime. Coffee shops or a friend's house. Good luck. I hope you get out soon. Ugh. Worst. Roommates who cause anxiety because of toxic behavior or selfish behavior. Never a good thing. Let's get them a coffee mug. Let's see. My visual arts project expects 40% of the artwork to be completed. It's been raining so frequently over here. We've been unable to take work home during heavy rains. The teachers are already aware of this, and nobody's going to rush it for time over quality. Lots of pressure. Ugh. You know, it probably wouldn't be helpful to tell them that, like, college. I don't know that college arts projects really matter that much at the end. Well, they may be an art student for all I know. I don't think there's really anything to say in this situation. Alright, what we got? I'm truly so alone. I've never had a best friend, and when I did have a lover, all they did do was love and hurt me. That was so... God, these people with the 0 punctuation. Come on. I am truly so alone. Period. I've never had a best friend And when I had a lover, all they did was love and hurt me. Period. That was over 2 years ago. Since then, I've had no friends, and my family doesn't care about me. I'm just here to do stuff for them, and my dog is the one I have. You know, it's really hard for me not to judge character based on spelling, and I know that's a very trivial thing. But I feel like if you're not willing to do this much, it's sort of like, what are you willing to do? But this is kind words, and so we have to be kind here. Never had a best friend. When I did have a lover, all they did was love and hurt me. 2 years ago since. Let's see. I've had no friends. Family doesn't care about me. I'm just here to do stuff for them. Jay, let's see. How have you been trying to make friends? I know it's generally difficult, but everyone has to step out of their comfort zones and do things awkwardly in order to make them. Hmm. I get the sense that you're kind of in a giving up sort of mentality. Can't blame you if times are tough. But if you want things to get better, you have to put yourself out there. We gotta give them a recommendation because it sounds like they kind of just let these things happen to them, or they let themselves be in it. They're very resigned to the situation they're in. Ah, but if you want things to get better, you can't just be resigned to the way things are. Try joining a club or volunteering just so you can get out and meet different types of people. Wishing you luck. Hmm. Definitely, I don't know, teenage angst maybe? It's easy to sort of feel like your only options are what's in front of you, right? School, immediate family, all that. But if you're not getting what you need where you're already going, you got to go out and find it. The song by Yacht. Is that supposed to be yacht? Like Y-A-U? Oh, whatever. God. It's a travesty. This horrible spelling is a travesty. All right, here we go. Here we go. Any advice on making friends when you keep to yourself a lot and you're an online college student? I was really hoping college would be a nice place to start over and make friends, but the pandemic kind of messed that up. And I really miss hanging out with people. Hmm. Now that is interesting. Any advice when you keep to yourself a lot and you're an online college student? You know, I was an on-campus college student, and I kept to myself quite a bit. Not one of the best outcomes for me personally. Thing is, oh, their name isn't BJ. B. Since the pandemic is winding down a bit, it might be time to start looking into clubs. Yeah, exactly, Tarragon. At the end of the day, college, the bread and butter of relationship building in college is joining extracurricular activities. Tricky when you don't live on campus, though, right? I know it's tricky if you're not on campus, but it's the best way to meet your peers. At the same time, you could always consider clubs or organizations outside of school. Volunteer programs, for example. Making friends, you're an online college student. Let's see. Oh, if you're still iffy about meeting people in person, it sounds a little weird, but if you play a lot of multiplayer games with voice chat, you're bound to find regulars to team up with. Food for thought. Oh boy. How's your Friday going, Tarragon? We made it. And nuclear war hasn't happened yet. Oh god. How awful is it that that nuclear war thing isn't exactly a joke either? Last I heard there was a radioactive power plant on fire, which I hope isn't on fire anymore. Alright, let's see. For a week, I was supposed to expose something in my school, but always for strange things I don't expose, and it is giving me a lot of anxiety and stress when I wake up, fall asleep, and before... You know, the first step to solving a personal problem is being able to express it. The zero punctuation thing. Their only punctuation was a comma after wake up. I mean, I suppose technically the apostrophe and don't, but... Like, can I just... Like, I just want this feedback to go out. Like, you need to realize when what you're... You need to realize when your sentences don't make sense. Alright. Let's see. Never had any friends growing up, and now that I'm an adult, it's even harder. I don't think anyone will ever view me as a friend who they choose to spend time with. I think I'm fine, but I feel kind of like I'm missing out. Let's see. F. As someone who's perpetually the least interesting person among my friends, I totally get where you're coming from. Sometimes, sometimes it just feels like you never hang out with anyone unless you were the one initiating all of it. If it doesn't bother you, that's a decent way to get by. But I suppose at the end of the day, if you want to become someone who is interesting and desirable to hang out with, you might just need to home in on what you think you might be missing. Shut-ins don't realize let's see. If you're quiet, speak out more. If you don't have opinions, if you don't voice opinions, say them. Something like that. Honestly, I find that people who are kind of in this situation, they tend to be the quiet ones. And because they're so quiet, no one knows how to talk to them and no one thinks to include them because they don't say anything. I speak from personal experience. If you act invisible, more often than not, people will interpret you as invisible. Alright. God, this expose thing. I went to the hospital today because something is wrong with my kidneys. Since my health started turning for the worst, it started impacting my schoolwork and it's been really stressing me out. I don't know how to end this. I'm just really tired and stressed right now. Let's see. Went to hospital. Something's wrong with your kidneys. If you're experiencing health problems, it might be worth taking a break from academics, especially if that stress is compounding. A bad mental condition will only make your physical condition worse. And even if the thought of falling behind is scary, I think your health takes a higher priority. Student? Something like that. Speak with your parents and see how they feel. Hopefully your kidney problem isn't too serious. Kidney problems. Can't say I've had too many organ issues. I had appendicitis once. But that was more of a I might have died if I didn't go to the hospital situation. There wasn't a lot of lead up or stress to be considered, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I should say. really tired. It's a year later, and I now have taken a gap year because my body is failing. I'm so tired, and my friend group is falling apart. How do I deal with the guilt of it happening? There are a lot of implications behind this one. Why would they feel guilt? Okay, well, first things first, bring up the questions and ask, make them think. Why are they responsible for this stuff, right? L. It's good that you took time for your health. It's more important than people give credit for. That said, why do you feel responsible about the state of your friend group? It's not your fault if you couldn't be around. It's okay to feel remorseful if it's in a bad state, but don't take responsibility for things like that. The minor who is like a sister from getting hurt. Seems like there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. The best you can do is handle things in parts and do the best you can. Try not to stress yourself out and just focus on recovery. A lot of vagueness. Lots of ambiguity lately. Let's see. God, this fucking I already reported this thing is not making sense. Go away. Tomorrow I gotta work for several hours in a place I hate, but in the morning I get to draw the first page of a comic I'm starting. It's also work, but at least it's something I like. I will also walk my dog in the woods and maybe eat a donut. Oh. Come on! What are your plans today? To stream myself playing kind words and try to give helpful advice to people. How can it... What is this? Poetry. Melodramatic poetry. Let's see. I wish I had a way to get to know people. I long for intimacy, but this takes time and I feel like I need to be whole first. It's hard to find someone to talk to sometimes, especially because I don't like dating apps. I think they're weird. To be honest, I wanted to develop organically. Let's see. S. I'm fairly convinced nobody actually likes dating apps. But sometimes you have to play numbers to up your odds. That said, I feel like the better way to do these things is to just be a regular somewhere where you can meet people. Sounds like you have some reservations about your psyche, about your state of mind, in which case just focus on making friends, and if you're lucky, you'll just find someone that way. Clubs and organizations are a good place to start. Been noticing this trend lately. The whole notion of not thinking you're complete or that something about you is missing. Also when it's dealing with relationships or potential dating. Sign of an issue of mental maturity, perhaps, or people feeling like they haven't done as much as they should have, or that these things aren't coming as easily as they should. I've certainly been there at one point. I think, and there's a reason why a lot of this apathy is sort of becoming a trend on here too. Unfortunately, it's a state of things when people spend a lot of time at home alone. I think it's a lot more common lately than it usually is. I want to go to sleep and my head is killing me almost always, so I have no idea why anymore. So take for instance this person, right? More and more tired every day, losing energy, wants to go to sleep all the time, to the point where they're probably getting sleep headaches from being dehydrated and sleeping too much. Jay. Sounds like you've developed COVID apathy. I think you need to start building a routine for yourself to program your mind to plan and look forward to things. I know it's tough. I used to just go to sleep because I was bored of being awake. But without regular activities, you'll just wither. Try picking up a hobby or joining something now that COVID's on the down slope. Good luck. I do not. Why is everyone's name Jay? I'm starting to feel like this is some kind of personal attack. Let's see. All my friends and family have been in relationships except for me, and they have had fun as a teenager. I hardly have any time left in my years as a teen, and I've done nothing with it. I've only hung out with someone once, never dated someone, never did anything cool. Sounds like an Asian student. And I'm willing to bet it's not because they didn't want to, but they really just may have never had the time or felt too responsible to allow themselves to have the time. Let's see. Okay. I know it's been your whole life so far, but don't put too much weight on your teenage years. Honestly, lots of adults feel like they do more and live more fulfilling lives after education, myself included. Contrary to what anime may teach you, life doesn't end at 18. Heck, you can't even drink or earn your own money. When you start being able to make all your life decisions yourself, that's when you're that's when you really start to do things that matter. Try not to get too hung up on things now. Just study hard and well, not study hard. Just do what you can and make up for the rest later. Man, that's crazy. To think like when you reach the end of your teenage years, you're like, I wasted my life. And I'm like, God, 20 years is such a short amount of time. And I remember what that's like. I was young once. I get it. We have so little perspective in those early years. And it doesn't help that TV shows, movies, teenage dramas kind of put us in that mindset of everything has to be done at such an early age, or it's meaningless. Alright. Let's see. I'm so touch-starved and lonely, I can't tell if I have feelings for this girl, or if it's just because she's the only person at my school who talks to me. Surprisingly introspective there. Let's see. There's no reason it can't be both. But I feel you. Good on you for questioning your motives. Because it is difficult to distinguish that. That said, do you really have to worry whether It's true. Let's see. Do you really have to worry about the source of your attraction? The real question is what you're willing to do about it. That said, oh, no, I already said that said before. I can't do it. If she's your friend and you're afraid of losing that, you can always tell her how you feel, but without an expectation from her, as a sort of getting this off my chest sort of thing. That might ease the tension on you personally. Friends who are girls. Always a tricky thing to navigate, right? Because I think, and this is a weird... I'd hate to say if this is a universal case, but I almost feel like any guy who's friends with a girl has the potential to kind of develop feelings for said girl. It happens more often than not, I feel like. But sometimes that's just biology, right? Both my best friends just got out of toxic relationships, so I can't bring up how lonely I feel, having never had a serious relationship in the first place. I just have nobody to talk to except for people on this platform. Let's see. Never had a serious relationship of my own. And I think I'm considerably pretty old on this space. That said, when I think of the friends who've had toxic relationships, it helps me accept the situation a lot more easily. There's a general idea that we should all be in relationships, but sometimes people just go through it alone. And that should be okay too. Especially if it's a choice between a toxic relationship or no relationship. No relationship wins hands down. I mean, we still got the old social programming, right? We all gotta get married, have millions of kids. You know, who cares if, you know, that relationship turns out bad? Don't sign that prenup. It'll work out. It'll be alright. Seen too many of those. Let's see. Every day, no matter what time I wake up, I have stress pains. It's a fight to get out of bed. I used to feel so motivated, but I've just been burnt out for 2 years. Let's see. Sounds like you need a vacation if this is work stress. I know it's hard to think about it, especially during COVID times, but I think a lot of us have been burning ourselves from both ends because it doesn't feel justified to take the time off if we can't even go anywhere. Mental health is important. If it isn't work related, maybe just consider seeing a specialist. To try to alleviate some of what you're feeling. Trust me, it makes a difference. Stressful can of soda. All right. Can y'all tell me how you found friends or poly relationships? Looking for new people to talk to, and I'm pretty sure I'm poly. I don't know how I would find others where I'm at that are also poly. Sadly, I can't speak on the issue. Polyamorous relationships aren't really a thing I've been exposed to personally. It all kind of comes down to being open, but you gotta find sometimes you need a community for that kind of thing. I've only ever dated 2 people. One cheated on me in less than a week. The other dumped me in less than 2 days. I don't know what could be wrong with me. All anybody tells me is that I'll find someone someday. But I don't believe them. Ooh. Ooh. See. Those people who tell you someday are full of crap. That sort of well-wishing is not constructive. And I'm sorry you have friends who tell you that. Let's see. That said, I know that comes off a little aggressive, but personally, that's my first reaction when people tell that to me. They're like, "Oh, you'll find someone. She's out there." That's an empty platitude if I've ever heard one. People die alone. People go their whole lives without relationships, and it's dismissive, and it is not positive to tell people like, "Oh, you just don't know. It'll happen. You'll see." And not because those people will never take responsibility for the things they say. And at the end of the day, if the person you're saying that to doesn't believe it, that just makes them feel worse. Because in their mind, they're going to think, "Oh, if it never happens, they're just going to say it's because I didn't try hard enough." Or, I screwed it up. Because everyone finds their person unless they do something wrong. So how do we encourage them in that case, right? That said, the 2 people you dated, them being bad to you isn't necessarily a reflection of who you are. Lots of good people end up dating shitty people. I guess the question you have to consider is whether this is a coincidence or is there something about these types of people that attract you? As long as this isn't a trend, don't let it define you as a person. Don't let it make you think you're a broken person. If it is a trend, however, that might be cause for introspection. Lots of mental health professionals will suggest the possibility that if you find yourself attracted to consistently not so great people, there's an inherent reason for that. It could be, I don't know, some people have dad issues. It's a stereotype, but it's a stereotype for a reason. All the same, though, this person's friends are ass if that's what they're telling them. Let's see. I have a hard time asking people if they want to be my friend. Hey, Pilgrim. If you're getting cheated on in less than a week, would you even want to date that person? Certainly not. But I think they're wondering why they get cheated on. Or why they get rejected by people, right? And like, I don't think it's that far off base to end up thinking that way. You get rejected a lot, you start to wonder if something's wrong with you. Personally, I'm just more disappointed in their friends. But, you know, it's a common thing. Oh, you'll find the right one eventually. Bullshit. That's privilege speaking. But yeah, let's see what we got here. I have a hard time asking people if they want to be my friend. I'm so overwhelmed by it that I come off weird. It seems a lot of people want to smash, but nobody wants to hang out. What? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but smashing is sex, isn't it? That's what the young people call it these days. What a crazy situation. So like this person can just have sex, but they can't make friends? Damn, when I was a kid, I felt like I felt like people would have preferred that over being able to make friends and not smash, so to speak. It's a bit of a funny image. I'm imagining they're like, don't you want to talk first? Let's see. I think making friends is a lot like trying to date people. If you just ask people outright if they want to date and go out, it's super weird. Likewise with trying to establish friendship. When's the last time anyone's ever asked, hey, do you want to be friends? I don't think people ever ask that quite literally. They go like, dude, we should hang out. Or like, dude, you want to hang out? And then it just kind of works out that way, right? I think the best you can do is just ask if people want to hang out. Or just say, we should hang out sometime. Friendships are repetitive hangouts after all. Weird, that part about smashing. I wonder if this is a woman. Because that kind of makes sense then, right? If they're like a girl or a woman, they just want to make friends with like dudes. I can kind of see that. Let's see. That last part about smashing, though. I think most people would find that an odd complaint. Only seen as a sex object. Yeah, Ptolemy, I guess that's possible, right? Probably a girl then, is what I would guess. Hmm. If you're concerned about only being approached as a sex object, So funny thing about that is I feel like there are certain things a girl can say to kind of kill that concept, right? I call it the force field. Basically, a lot of girls, at least when they hit their 20s, they're very good at this. They're very good at putting up sort of a perceivable wall around them that's like a no-fly zone. And sometimes it comes out in the form of like body language. But they'll usually say things or they'll end up flighty. The problem is that it's not very conducive to making friends, right? And I think if you come off aggressively like that, it'll just make people think you're kind of weird or unapproachable. Maybe I don't need to address that last part. Unless, you know, the people who are trying to smash with them are both women and men. We'll keep it simple. We'll keep it simple. Oh God, I wish these would stop coming up. I wish I could just mark some of these as do not repeat, because a lot of the I don't do poetry. I don't do things that don't make sense on reading. And unfortunately, I don't know much about polyamorousness, so I can't comment on it. I look at myself and feel so fucking ugly. Why is it like this? Why doesn't she love me after 7 years? So this is a little... This one's a little dangerous seeming, right? So the vibe I'm getting here, we've got teenagers, right? Because who knows people for as long as 7 years? People you've grown up around, people you've gone to the same school district with. So why doesn't she love me after 7 years? Sounds like he has a one-sided crush. But the expectation that knowing this person for 7 years should make them like you. That makes me a little iffy about this person. But once again, the game is named Kind Words. We can't condemn. At least as long as it's not blatant. But let's see. Z. I get the feeling you're young. I too am an ugly person. And I understand the self-loathing that comes with that. That said, if you find yourself deficient, I'm glad I'm not the one playing. I hate this guy. Yeah, it's kind of bad vibes, right, Ptolemy? A little too, like, too much pity party. But that 7 years thing really sticks out, right? If you find your in specific ways, then work on it. Work out. It's better than wallowing in how much you don't like yourself now. Just work on making yourself better later. For later. The 7 years thing, though, that's kind of sketchy. If you've known someone for 7 years, that doesn't obligate them to like you. If you've known someone for 7 years, that doesn't obligate them to like you. If you have that kind of expectation of girls, you'd best ditch that right quick. You know, he's probably not gonna like it, but someone has to tell him, right? It's a little... It's a little shady. Same guy. Totally same guy. See, no spam. uh, yeah, I'm kind of no fucks to give on this dude. Nobody likes a pity party. If you're really that unhappy with yourself, though, seek out professional help and figure out why you have this tendency towards self-hatred. It's not healthy. I mean, Patalamus, I'm willing to bet this guy's not even ugly. I'm willing to bet that he just hasn't found the success he's looking for. And so he's just projecting that out there. He's sexually frustrated and just wants to bitch about it to the world. Because there's something in all this language too, right? Like, it's not... These aren't the words of someone who's legitimately sad. They're like this angsty, angry teenager. It's not healthy. If you're really that unhappy with yourself, though, seek out professional help and figure out why you have this tendency towards self. I can tell from this message and your last one that you're frustrated. But this is a bad way to vent that out. And it's not constructive for yourself. I'm actually willing to bet money that you aren't ugly. Just not getting the results you're looking for. That's fine. But don't blow things out of proportion. There are lots of ugly folks in the world. Like, just because you're ugly, like, not all ugly people go out in the world and just, like, bitch about it. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to not feel good about yourself, but, like... Don't be a whiny bitch, you know? See, this is part 3. And I already broke the rules. I did a multi-parter without realizing it. Make progress towards resolving your self-hatred first. Then you can think about the other things. Yeah, I know. I hate that I'm doing this. It's against my own rules, but then you can think about the other things. See a social worker or a therapist or a counselor. If you're not willing to do that much for yourself, you shouldn't You shouldn't complain. You know, I know this is a little toxic. I mean, hear me out. You shouldn't expect people to listen to your complaints. Because sometimes, and I've told friends this too, right? Like people who just endlessly complain about their lot in life, but they don't take the first steps to actually, they don't take the first steps to try to resolve any of it. And sometimes you just need to slap them in the face and be like, if you're gonna bitch that much, then do something, right? The game is called Kind Words, but kind is not always the same as nice. Sometimes kind is trying to do the right thing by someone, even if it isn't, you know, the most friendliest. You know, they're probably not. They're just rambling, but I think, like, here's the thing, right? If you don't, if a person who doesn't know anything about you is going to go this far and be like, dude, you're just bitching. Like, don't just bitch. Like, do something. Otherwise, you don't have a right to bitch. It's okay to voice your frustration if you fail. And that's the difference, right? If you fail, you can complain about it. Because that means you tried and you earned it. It doesn't help to spam messages out into the world. Without intent to fix anything. It's a little presumptuous, I'll admit it, but if you're gonna dedicate 3 letters worth of complaints, at least make it sound like you tried to do something about it, right? Let's see. I went out on a date for the first time in years. It was nice, but also kind of scary. I've never been in a relationship and just don't know if I'm ready for the dating world. That's a good, wholesome one. C. Never been in a relationship, just don't know if I'm ready for the dating world. There's nothing out there saying you have to jump in the deep end. If you had a nice date and the person was considerate, you're allowed to take things slow until you're comfortable with it. I don't think anyone's really ready for the dating world. Especially those who haven't dated in a while. Just keep it slow, communicate, And don't forget to use protection when it matters. Good luck and make good choices. I get the vibe that maybe they're a bit of a younger person. Very important. Say what. Don't hesitate to say things. Yeah, no, that feels a lot better after that last triple parter there. No! Go away! Alright. People on the internet talking about how everything is going to lead to World War III and nuclear war. I'm just kind of anxious. Really anxious because I don't want to die. I don't understand why people are saying it. I just want to be okay. My dog has a cone on her head and looks super sad. The cone of shame. It's okay, Ptolemaeus. Dogs need a little humility once in a while. If you keep the cone on long enough, you can train that dog to proactively wear the cone. Let's see. Don't believe the internet user? Right. S. I think it's just a lot of gallows humor. People on the internet like to troll about this stuff because if you don't laugh, sometimes the news is just too sad. I doubt most of these people believe it'll go that far. It'll be bad, especially for the people of Ukraine. But nuclear war is such a huge... The internet is way more negative. No, I mean, it's true. It's such a huge world changer. Nuclear war is something, let's see. Nuclear war is so far, let's see, so impossibly bad for everyone that I doubt that it's unlikely it'll ever reach that point. At least until we start living in space. In which case, humanity might not value the planet as much. Joke. It's a joke. When you make jokes and you have to say that they're actually jokes. I mean, it is on everyone's mind, and yeah, no, that's also what I was thinking, Pilgrim, right? Like, if someone launches a bomb, everyone launches their bombs, and so we're all pretty much screwed. Honestly, the scariest thing about nuclear war is surviving. Like, if a radioactive bomb blows up in California, I don't want to survive it. Because radiation sickness seems like an awful thing to have to live through. Even if for a short time. I'm reporting this. We don't want this here. Get it out. I mean, it's not worrying. It's not like he's threatening to commit suicide. He's literally just bitching. So unfortunately, it's not like... The worrying thing doesn't come into play unless it seems threatening to other people. Because suicide I can answer to, but... Yeah. Alright. I kinda hate being 16. I don't like that I can't be in adult spaces even though I want to be. It's stupid and makes me sound like a child, but I hate it. Hopefully this isn't the same Z. And yes, they are a Unfortunately, yeah, you are a child. But you've got a couple. But you've only got a couple more years to go. I know that seems forever. But trust me, it'll be fast. Being an adult isn't really all it's cracked up to be, though. I'm pretty convinced we're just wrinkly children. We're all just wrinkly children still. Adult spaces, what does that mean? Bars? Bars and clubs aren't really all they're cracked up to be. Nothing's worse than being a poor grown up. Right? So don't get too excited about the too worked up about the age requirement. You'll have to be successful too. +18 Discord channels, yeah, right? They're like, damn it, every time I go to this porn site, I have to agree that I'm over 18. But I'm not, so I can't go to this porn site. It's what I like to imagine, right? Or like, man, GameStop won't sell me God of War because I'm 16. Which, to be honest, I think is kind of bullshit. The SRB's there for a reason, though. High stakes poker, lots of things, right? Maybe they're not allowed to have a Twitch account. Oh no, 16's acceptable, I think. Let's see. I'll use this picture of a man with stubble to symbolize adulthood. Honestly, I was never really in a rush to grow up myself. I was actually very comfortable as a high schooler. At least in my senior year, I think I peaked. I I reached a level of like enlightenment in myself where I was like, I do enjoy studying. And then I became an adult and was like, oh, I was so stupid. Oh no, this is interesting. School Stockholm syndrome. Seriously. It's all that school spirit shit they indoctrinate you with. And you're like anteaters for life or whatever your school mascot is. It's almost like a cult in a weird way. And let's see. I'm feeling bitter. I resent my friends for being so happy with their partners because in my mind, it proves that I'm broken for not wanting one. I don't understand my role in their lives anymore, and they shy away from explaining it properly. Nationalism in a small scale. Yeah, I think I'd agree to that. Especially when it comes to like inter-school fights, right? I've definitely had classmates who are like, we're gonna fuck up those kids from those other schools. I was like, why? Why does it matter? They aren't even bothering you. So this one's a little interesting, right? They seem to think that they're somehow weird for not really wanting a relationship. But I'm inclined to think it's more because they feel left out. And they don't know what to think about that. Not wanting to be in a relationship doesn't make you broken. It just means you don't feel the need to desperately chase a social norm. A toxic one at that. I get the feeling you're more bothered by the abandonment of your friends who are now dating. Let's see. If you're young, I'm sorry, but they're probably going to think relationships are their whole life. But it shouldn't be, and it's unfortunate that we grow up thinking that way. So how do we encourage them? Probably gotta think relationships are their whole life, but it shouldn't, and it's unfortunate that we grow up. These things do become less important as we get older, though. So try not to hyper focus on it until then. Asexuality is a difficult identity to deal with sometimes. Relationships don't last. They will be back. Very possible as well, right? It's a funny thing Because for as much as people, pressure each other to be in relationships or whatever, eh, they do come back. Because most relationships don't last. Statistically, most relationships fail. That's why people need to be in a bunch of relationships before they actually get married. Even then, sometimes that doesn't stick. Let's see. I was broken up with about a month ago, and I feel like I'm doing pretty good at this point. I feel like I'm heavily falling for someone, though, and he's my ex's friend. And my friend's ex. Wait. He's my friend. He's my ex's friend. And my friend's ex. Oh no. The incestuousness. That's like best friends dating each other's best friends. That's weird. I'm lost and don't know what to do. I want to act on my feelings, but I don't want to hurt people. So this is interesting, right? Because... No, I don't know if it's necessarily stay away territory, but... if they're all still kind of involved with each other, then the breakup wasn't ugly? I mean, I guess it could be weird. You want to act on your feelings, but don't want to hurt people. Let's see. Your feelings are not as important as you think. Ptolemy, why do I get the sense you're projecting a little here? Oh, let's see. Not going to lie, you're entering some perilous territory here. I would say if you're seriously considering this, though, maybe talk to your friend first before acting and weigh that whether there's endangerment to your friendship or whether that's something something you'd want to risk. Breaking off a relationship is one thing, but being forced to have to continually remember it through proxy of your friends is probably not the greatest situation either. Tread carefully. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true, Ptolemy, actually. Now that I think about it, now that I've verbalized this, I'm like, yeah. Because it's not about them, it's about their friends, right? And you wonder how this would play out in the opposite direction, right? Consider how it would play out in the opposite direction. Play out the opposite way. While they're good, they might be rebounding. Yeah, I mean, sometimes rebounds work for people though, right? I'm not going to rule that out necessarily, but this is definitely like a really sticky situation because the friends are directly involved. So I think this is good. I think that's something for them to think on. Let's see. Well, we send them. What's an undersent sticker? Alright. Hey, I answered this one. What the hell? Okay, well, I guess maybe they didn't find the answer they wanted the last time. Go away. Yikes. Okay, this is an interesting one. My friend and I tried to talk things out today after she blew up on me for asking. Sorry, slipped. For asking her to stop joking about my eating disorder. She said, well, I'll just save them for once you're cured. I don't feel hurt at all, and I don't know why I bothered. Do you? Your friend is an ass. Unfortunately, your friend is ignorant. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, I don't disagree. Your friend is ignorant. It's unfortunate, but people who haven't experienced a personal condition like that don't know, like that don't have the perspective. Don't have the perspective to not be asses about these things sometimes. Doesn't mean your friend won't get better eventually. But it's not your responsibility to put up with it either. Well, just save them for once you're cured. Yeah, that's a real shit thing. It's the same sort of like empty platitude well-wishing behavior that's like when you tell a single person, "Oh, you'll meet the right one eventually." They're out there, right? You can't just tell someone who's had a condition or is working on a condition that, they'll be cured. You're never cured. You're never cured from a serious problem because it's always an option for you later. It never stops being an option. Things like this never get cured because it's always an option later. She definitely did not have a right to be mad at you, of all people. Let's see. If she isn't, if you don't see her coming around, don't burden yourself with her until she does. Yeah, that's messed up. That's a bad friend right there. I'm not saying you can't make jokes about a condition, because I certainly make jokes about my condition a lot. I think you have to know when you're stepping out of bounds and when you're just being an asshole. And if someone can't take a joke that's targeted towards their condition, that's not on them, that's on you. So, honestly, I would just say stop being friends with the person, but, you know, it's a heavy-handed thing to drop right out of the gate. Yeah. You can't make jokes if you're not informed. True, true. Writing exercise. What's your OC? OCs? What's an OC? Original character? Oh, gross. They want me to write isekai? Screw that. We don't do isekai on this damn channel. Shit. Oh, God. I don't like these. Too much positivity. Trigger warning. I've been feeling pretty hopeless lately. My parents seem to hate me, and my boyfriend doesn't care about what happens in my life. Don't know what to do. Let's see. I don't think this is necessarily a suicide trigger warning, but I guess they're just implying it's on their mind. First, I would say to try to detach yourself from as many toxic circumstances as possible. If your boyfriend doesn't really care, why are you with him? Why tether yourself to a source of disappointment? If you're having trouble with your parents, have you talked it out with them? Or do they just generally seem irate? I grew up Asian, so a lot of it... No, I'm not going to insert myself like that. Some parents just don't know how to deal with stress, but don't always mean the worst. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just like, if your boyfriend doesn't care about what happens in your life, you're with the boyfriend because you think you're supposed to be with the boyfriend. Social programming. Just try to tackle your issues in chunks. So you don't feel overwhelmed by them. Don't like that trigger warning, but got a sense of hopelessness, but I also feel like it might be a bit of over-exaggeration too. Is my impression anyways. I just got an 80 out of 92 on a quiz. I have 2 more quizzes and a final. I'm such a failure. I spent my last hour crying. My eyes are red and I don't want to go to classes tomorrow. I really don't. Tomorrow's my long day from 1 to 8 p.m. My head hurts and I want to cry. Sounds like an Asian student. The line. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? There's the line. Yeah, you know it was coming. But here's the thing, right? First off, 80 out of 92. That's not a bad score. Weird that they put out of 92 instead of doing the full percent, but whatever, right? 2 more quizzes and a final. If you think you're a failure for getting a B, there's only a very specific subset of people who feel that way, to the point of crying and anxiety because their parents beat that into them. Also, the initial is an X, right? Just saying. But this isn't really funny. I shouldn't be laughing at it. I'm willing to bet money though. This is totally Asian reaction. I'm going to take a shot in the dark and guess you might be Asian. The only time I cried for a grade was when I got a 20 out of 100. Ooh. Yikes. Complete failure range, huh? Let's see. So, to give some context and why I feel so strongly that these are Asian conditions, I actually cried while giving a science report in front of the class, and I didn't even finish. I didn't even get to the grade because I was so terrified and knew that it was such crap and that I was doing such a bad job that I worked myself into a freaking panic attack and cried in front of my whole class. And that's because historically, if I didn't do well, my mom would scream at me and hit me with a very slim stick that makes that whipping wind noise when you swing it. Always did hate that thing. But it's a very common condition. If you get yelled at a lot for getting sub 90, you really do think you fail when you hit a B. And so the thing is, when Asian parents see this, they don't take your stress into account. They don't see how hard you work or how much you panic. They only see the end results. And when they do, they always resort to threats. They always say, "Why am I paying for your college, you stupid kid?" Or, "Why are you even part of a club? You need to get out of that club and spend more time studying." And so it's a lot of pressure. And I could see how this works. And then you could tell, like, tomorrow's my long day from 1 to 8 p.m. They're either in college or they're in high school going to after school classes as well. And if they're crying at that old age, you know that shit runs deep. As an Asian who grew up with a lot of academic pressure, I feel for you. And I'm willing to bet your parents are harsh, no matter how hard you work. If it helps, they don't even take the teacher or the exam being bad into account. No. Because, I mean, and I'm speaking about first generation Asian parents, by the way. Because the thing is, their educational system is way different than ours. It's very militant and it's very test oriented. And the thing is, it's very competitive. They put your scores up on the wall. You see how you are relative to all of your other classmates. And so the way they see it is like, oh, you've got problems, just get them right, forehead. They don't realize that the curricula is vastly different for other people. Or even that the American education system is treated differently, right? There are lots of cases where Asian students go to American schools and they look crazy. They look crazy because they're like freaking out over like seemingly insignificant things. But the rest of the world doesn't know that like they're crying like that because their parents fucking yell at them. Gaokao, big Chinese exam. Oh god, the fucking curve. That's right. And then there are just some grades that aren't numeric. And you can't fucking explain that to your Asian parents who don't get it. The grading curve. Some schools don't even give you A pluses, so you never get an A plus, and your parents are perpetually mad about that. Ugh. If it helps, the grades don't matter that much in the end. They're important, but being a perfect student they're important, but not getting A's, not getting straight A's does not make you a failure. It just means you and your parents are hyper focused on a specific metric. God. Asian student questions, I always have a lot to say about Asian student requests, I always have so much to say on these. Because it's not only that you're having a hard time getting the grades that are expected of you, but it's the social pressure as well, right? Like, I spoke to a white friend about this actually fairly recently. And when I explained the whole thing about like academic pressure, she was like, well, everyone gets that, right? This is an honor roll student, by the way. But I was like, no, but there's a big difference between your parents really having high expectations of you and you being terrified that you're going to get screamed at by your parents and not be allowed to go to a party or hang out with your friends because you got a B. And that shit happens. And I think a lot of people don't realize it. Yeah. Self-inflicted pressure is another thing too, right? Like, and sometimes as the child you kind of get indoctrinated into that state of mind. I definitely put a lot of academic pressure on myself. But like, you know, it's heartbreaking. Every time you see something like this, it's heartbreaking. Willing to bet your parents know hard your work if it helps. And the problem is you can't explain this to your parents, right? They just won't get it. And even if you worked hard, even if you got good grades, it never stops. Your career has to be good, or else your parents are gonna, you know, talk to you like a disappointment, or tell you like you should stop doing these things you enjoy because, you know, the only focus on your life should be to make lots of money so you can support babies or some bullshit. Let's see. Here's me. What do they say if you don't want babies? It's Ptolemy, it's unthinkable. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you even suggest that that you don't make grandchildren for them? Just means your parents are hyper focused. Yeah, social skills I would say are definitely more important than academic capability, because academic capability isn't a good gauge of almost anything, right? You can be really good at memorizing shit, but it doesn't mean you can figure out shit. I can't tell you how many honor students I deal with who can't fucking divide their check by 5 to calculate tip. It blows my mind. I'm like, just divide by 5, it's easy, that's 20%. They're like, no, we can't do long division. None of it matters. The problem is, even if we tell this person none of it matters, their parents are still going to act like it matters. And that's what's making them unhappy, unfortunately. Grades aren't everything. If you don't carve out time for yourself, if you don't carve out some leeway for yourself, you'll break before you finish. Yeah, I mean, hell, social skills will get you the opportunities. Because there's no lack of smart people, but most of those people are socially inept. Well, we get them. Well, we get them. Lemonade. Honestly, if there was a kind words for just Asians, I'd have so much damn advice to drop on people. Why did they capitalize path? Is this like a religious thing? I hope not. As an atheist, anything with a capitalized, any word indicating a journey or a route with a capitalized letter is always a trigger word for me. The Eightfold Path. Let's see. This week has been rough. I had lots of work and barely any time for myself. I've been trying to detach from my ex. We're still close friends. I have attachment issues. And I'm proud to have made it through this week so far. It's been exhausting, though. Attachment issues, huh? Good on you. Good on you for making it. If you're struggling with attachment issues, it could be worth seeing a therapist about. At least so you can rationalize the behavior and correct it if you still feel it's a problem. Let's see. Correct it if you still feel it's a problem. Attachment issues. If you want time for yourself, turn down invitations once a week and make it a day for yourself. I don't know if it's necessarily invitations. Barely any time for myself. Doesn't mean it's for friends. I think it's just, I think they work a lot of hours, maybe a lot of overtime, or just don't know how to turn things off. That doesn't seem to be the main issue. But I think they're just like overwhelmed. Let's see. Proud to have made it through the week so far. It's been exhausting though. Yeah, I mean, the only thing we could really comment on is attachment issues. I think a good indicator as to whether you're over the problem is if you're comfortable with not dating. Comfortable being single and not dating. Anyhow, it's good to see someone being diligent even if they're tired. Keep it up. I hope it gets a little easier soon. Barely time to detach from myself. Barely time for myself. All right, let's do one more. Hopefully it's a good one. God damn, managed to develop a crush on a girl who's living in another country and had already got with another guy. Despite that, she was so sweet and funny and just a joy to be around. I'm still chatting with her and it's great. Just kinda hard. IG. No. What does IG stand for? Just kinda hard, I guess. Oof. Alright, I can work with that. Let's see. Tough break, man. At the least, let's see. A long distance relationship would be difficult So maybe it's for the best. That said, it sounds like you sounds like you enjoy being friends with her. So there's no reason not to keep that going. Why can't we be friends? It's because Hollywood makes it impossible for us. Oh God, what the hell just happened? My monitor. No. Oh God. No, come back. Oh God. I don't know how that looked on your guys' end, but... Oh no. Oh, Jesus. Did everything get moved? Oh God, everything got moved over. Okay, give me a second. We can recover from this. We can recover from this, chat. God damn it. This is what happens when you keep a monitor around for over 10 years. You just nudge it a little bit, and damn power goes out. Okay. Okay, there we go. Can't be friends because Hollywood doesn't like men and women just being friends without that romantic interest. Let's see. That said, let's see. That said, it sounds like you enjoy being friends with her, so there's no reason not to keep that going. If the crush is difficult for you, though, you could try bringing it up in a way that has no expectations. Saying something like, I just want to say it to get it off, to get over it. And I think your odds of that not backfiring would be good since you've got distance. She was so sweet and funny and just a joy to be around. I'm still chatting with her and it's great. Kinda hard, I guess. Something to consider if it gets to be hard. We gotta normalize this kind of thing. Normalize being able to just say shit to your friends, even if it's uncomfortable. And have the friends be like, oh, okay. No, that's cool. Like, as long as you don't expect anything from me, we could still be friends. And then you just communicate that shit, so it's not a lead-on, you know? Gotta normalize these things. We'll turn lemons into lemonade for this guy. Alright. Can't keep babysitting a grown man. That's a tough one. But I'm not answering it because I called the last one the last one. We aren't together, hardly even friends. If I clean up after a grown man. We do have those people in our lives. Alright, let's see what the deer dropped off for us today. Okay, so, as I mentioned earlier, my parents are visiting. And despite being an adult, I have a problem. Oh God, no! Oh no, Why didn't you tell me my vocoder, my voice visualizer thing was off? Oh man. Okay. Okay, we're good. Safe. But yeah. Every time my dad visits, particularly my dad, my mom doesn't care because she's actually started playing video games to pass the time herself. My dad's always like, stop playing video games. Stop playing for today. It's like 8 p.m. I've only been playing for an hour. What the hell am I going to do for the rest of the day? Or for the rest of the evening? Meanwhile, he's watching conspiracy YouTube videos and pro-Trump videos. And I'm just kind of like, ah. Ridiculous. But that's Asian parents for you. Hi, Jay. Sorry to hear your dad has nothing else better to do than criticize your choices as an adult, but has no problem watching K-pop vids. Don't think it's fair that you can't game for more than an hour to de-stress yourself while out of work. During this time is rough and kind of scary, so your dad probably has some issues that he doesn't know how to deal with. Not sure if I'm helping anymore. Try to talk it out with him and see if you both come from the same place. As a follow adult, I can't say much since I live alone and don't have a dad. Yikes. Wow. That that one came a little... Did he really have to mention that last part? I mean, yeah, like, I kind of felt like that wasn't necessary. I don't know if I want to send them a sticker. I almost feel like that's a bit backhanded. Like, at least you have a dad kind of thing. I like, or I don't know. It just seems like a weird way to end a statement, or like end a piece of advice to someone else. Yeah. I don't know if I want to say thanks with a sticker. That one's... I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that response. We make it a joke. Definitely. They've gotten better over time. I hope yours will too. I think it's hard for parents to stop parenting, give up control of their children. Even my mom and grandmother in her 90s would bicker over things like this occasionally. I mean, here's the thing. Like I've mentioned before, I'm in my late 30s. Like, it's a little ridiculous that I have to have this argument with my dad on the regular. Sounds to me like your parents have bad boundaries. They need to understand that you aren't an adult and you can separate from them. This can be really hard for people to understand sometimes. There may be more reasons I cannot know, them being Asian. But I feel you have every right as an adult to spend your free time how you wish. If you want to spend it playing video games for hours, you do that. Every day we work hard for these moments where we are free to enjoy our lives. No one has the right to judge whether or not it's a waste. Take care. Those video games will rot your brain. Gotta watch TV instead. And that's totally what happens too. Like, that's the most insane part of all this. Like, they thought they have one conclusion, but haven't made the connection between another potential conclusion. I always make the argument as well because my dad doesn't know how to use computers. And I'm like, Dad, you don't have basic pattern recognition skills because you don't play video games. That's why you don't know how to use the internet or the computer or anything. right? No, I make the argument all the time. Ah, yeah, those video games. Better watch out. I should be spending my time studying instead. Clearly. Another favorite of the Asian household. Ah, well, that was the stream today. Think we sent some good messages. Told a whiny guy to stop bitching and do something. A little harsher today, but honestly, I think sometimes, even on a platform like Kind Words, people need to get called out sometimes, you know? But yeah, thank you guys for dropping by as usual. Ptolemy, Pilgrim, Tarragon, I hope you guys have an excellent weekend. As I said, my parents are coming by on Mondays, so I'm not sure what the streaming schedule is going to be like. Next thing I know, I'm gonna be streaming this game, and my dad's gonna barge into my room telling me to stop playing video games. Only 2 weeks till Persona. Oh, now that's a thought. The return of Social Link Sundays? Very possible. Studying. Creative writing isn't a real study. Don't you know, Pilgrim? You don't make money writing. You have to be a lawyer or a doctor. Or a business person. You can't do any of that liberal art shit. It's useless. Well, yeah. Anyways, have a good weekend, folks. I'll see you next time. Keep an eye out on the notices as usual. Maybe I'll play something different next time, because I do feel like this has gotten... I don't know. We've been helping a little too many people right now, and I think I'm getting a little too comfortable with the... with a lot of my common answers. So we'll shake it up. I'll give it some thought. But yeah, have a good night. Make good decisions. Talk to you guys later. Bye.